We're going live today. And we're gonna go live. And we're gonna go live. Cause we... Alright, I can stop singing. Hello everyone, welcome to the live stream where we do it live. Let's just get everything all set up here. I'm your host, Tony D and Little Joan, sitting on the floor, relaxing after a tough day. Oh, she's all tuckered out. She's all tuckered out after a nice walkies. Hi everyone, welcome to the live stream where we do it live. Hollywoke Hot Take live, where we talk about the movies and box office. And Clint Miller's here. Hi Clint. Hi Tony, says Clint Miller. Hello. I just got back from the Salem County Comic Book Show, which was at the Masonic Lodge down in Penns Grove. So that was a nice day. Thanks to all who came out. What else did I do this week? Oh, I went to the Beach Haven Library. That was pretty cool. I had never been there. And they had a library blended into the other shore houses. I drove past it twice. Then on Wednesday, that was Friday, Wednesday I did a Zoom call for the LBI Historical Association, which has its headquarters right near the library, in fact. And on Monday I did an event at one of the senior places, I think. I forget which one. Oh gosh, I can't read my own handwriting up on my calendar, but that's what my week was like. So it was pretty busy doing stuff, selling books, and the usual stuff, telling people about the Jersey Devil. I just posted a Piney podcast Valentine's Day special. If you get a chance to check that out later, it's sort of like an extended version of a Legend of the Pines. And it's all about Hezekiah Smith, the guy who basically ran Smithville. Not the Smithville near Leeds Point, but the other Smithville. And he's got an interesting backstory. And he's a ghost. So. Oh, and it was a Valentine's Day thing. My girlfriend made a request. I had to do a video for her. And so it's also a love story, ghost story. So if you're looking for something for Valentine's Day and you want it to have something to do with the Pine Barrens, and I know I do, check out that video. All right. Let's get into the box office as people drift in here. 7:03. Should I bother? Oh, no, I promoted. I sent out the link. So I think we're ready to go. People will gravitate in here as we get going. All right. First up, another group of movies just took the top 3 slots, which it's kind of been unusual because we had a few weeks where it was the same 5 movies, for 3 or 4 weeks in a row. But now this is the second week in a row where the top movies got knocked right out of there. So first up was the highly anticipated Wuthering Heights, starring Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi. This is a classic, and it did $34.8 million. And I think we can all agree that Margot Robbie is still pretty hot. Hold on, I'm getting a text. Oh, the girlfriend's watching. Hi, baby. So it looks like, you can't go wrong with a classic, especially a romance, because romance is universal. Okay, that is another universal theme in movies, a love story, especially one that has been around for 100 years or more. So same thing with Romeo and Juliet and a few others. That would be the exception to the rule of the 3 main movies. Normally it's horror, TNA, and action. But this also transcends culture to a large degree. Now there's a little bit of culture in this, in that it takes place, I think, in England, right? I think everything Jane Austen wrote takes place in England. I think it's Jane Austen, right? But 76 million. That's not too shabby. Not too shabby a start for a movie that cost 80 million. So this will probably make money. I think it's well on course to do that. It'll be, it'll make its, or at least half its production budget by Tuesday at least. And then probably next weekend it'll make another 80 million or another 40 million or so. And it needs to make 160, maybe 200 million. So I think we're on a good start here. I think it could do that. So next week, look for 36 million, depending. And then after that, 16 million or so, maybe 18. So that'd be 54. Then 9 million, that'll be 63. Then 5 million, that'll be 68. Yeah, so I think you're going to eventually get there, depending on how much they spent on advertising. Might fall a little bit short, but I don't know. This could have legs. There's really nothing out. And who's going to movies? I don't even know anymore. Number 2 is GOAT. GOAT in caps. And this is a cartoon from Sony. 26 million, which isn't too bad, except cartoons are usually pretty expensive to make. Did 41 million worldwide. This has a budget of 80 million. So it's got to be a struggle. I mean, if Wuthering Heights is going to be a struggle, and it sounds like it will be with that math I just went over in my head, I don't think GOAT's going to make enough money. And this movie, they've been advertising this for a while, because I remember doing the trailer reaction to this at least over a year ago. So I'm not sure what held this up. Number 3 is a new Chris Hemsworth movie called Crime 101. $15 million. 15.1. Let's see what this one cost. $90 million. Ugh. But then again, Amazon kind of doesn't care because it's part of their subscription model. Indie Phantom, what's up? What's up? So even if they don't make all the money back in theaters, it doesn't matter because it goes on Amazon, where it makes them more money because it's part of their subscriptions. And they make so much money in Amazon, even if it lost them money, they'd just write it off. So I did like the Extraction movie, which with Chris Hemsworth. This has nothing to do with that, but I mention it because it's sort of a similar situation, right? It's another movie made by a platform, and, seems to be action-oriented. Indie Phantom. Oh, yeah, will avoid because of Ruffalo. Oh, the Crime 101 has Ruffalo in it? Guy is kind of poison. Well, let's see. Let's see who's in Crime 101. I think I did a trailer analysis of this. I'll say this about Ruffalo. He's great in Zodiac, and he's usually pretty good as a cop, which is so weird because, oh yeah, it is Ruffalo. Well, who's he playing this? Lou. We don't know anything about Lou. Is he a cop, though? I think he is. He's, in his defense, he's usually a good cop. He's a great cop in Zodiac. It's kind of weird, right? Because he's so left. He's such an activist a-hole about it. And yet, he plays a really good cop. He also is in that new TV show Task, I think it's called, which takes place in Philly. Indie Phantom Zodiac is awesome. It really is. And I didn't think it would be good. And I was hesitant to watch it because he was in it. And Robert Downey Jr. is also great in it, but he's not in it as much. He his character kind of like burns out and then is out of the movie, but it's such a great ensemble cast. So I don't know. I'd give Crime 101 a chance, only because I have Amazon, so it should be on there at some point. So that's looking like a pretty healthy box office for 3 new movies. Number 4, dropping from 1, is Send Help. This is in its 3rd week, and it only dropped by 1%. And last week it didn't drop by, I think it dropped only by about 50%, if I'm remembering. So Send Help, pretty steady. Sam Raimi always kind of delivers something. I mean, even as much as I complain about Drag Me to Hell, it wasn't a terrible story. It shouldn't have been a 2-hour movie. It should have been a Twilight Zone episode. I feel like Send Help is probably in that wheelhouse, but at least it's kind of intense and interesting. 8.9 million. Let's see. Is this thing above water yet? 72 million. Doing better here than overseas. Just about. I mean, we're at 40 million. So to make its budget back, it needs to hit 80. It should easily do that. And then, the advertising, whatever the hell that is. Indie Phantom. He is talented as F now, or he is tainted as F now. Talking about Ruffalo. Played Trump basically in something recently. He did? Indie Phantom. Send Help to Hollywood. Ha! Ha! Number 5, dropping from number 2, is Solo Mio with Kevin James from Angel Studios. Now, it only dropped 3% in its 2nd week at 6.8 million. And it's actually in fewer theaters. So what? Wow. This thing probably would have done even better had you just kept it in those 52 extra theaters. Huh. Go figure. I mean, I never would have greenlit a movie with Kevin James as the romantic lead in a rom-com, but there you go. I wish he would go back to comedy. I think that's where he belongs. And JEC is here. Hi, hi, hi. Indie Phantom. Yeah, Mickey 17, Ruffalo plays his trump card. Oh, right. I think I remember that. Number 6 is Zootopia, down from number 6 last week. So Zootopia 2. Still chugging along in its 12th week, $3.76 million. It's pretty damn good for a movie in its 12th week these days. Beating out at number 7, Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, which I want to see. I hear great things about it. I love Sam Rockwell. He's the lead. 3.6 million. But it's only in 1,610 theaters. It's kind of a low amount of theaters. I wish they'd given it more distribution. Indie Phantom. Wasn't Kevin James in Hitch? Well, let's see. Hitch. Will Smith. Eva Mendes. Was he the fat friend? Yes, he was. Yes, he was in Hitch. But see, he was the fun. I assume he was the comic relief in Hitch. He's not the lead. Will Smith is the lead. You got to have someone at least as handsome as Will Smith to play a lead in a rom-com. I would say. If you want the rom part of rom-com to be taken seriously. So here is Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. I hear great things about this. Doesn't tell you its budget, but it looks good. I want to see it. Indie Phantom. Rockwell doesn't really pull the box office, sadly. I know. But he's been in some stinkers. You know, he was in that... what the hell's that movie? The one that Cavill was in. And Bryce Dallas Howard was in it. Let's go over his resume. So he was in. Well, the bad guys too did pretty well. He was in White Lotus, which is also doing pretty well. The bad guys. He was in If. That didn't do well. Argyle. That was the movie I was thinking of. That didn't do well at all. That did horrible. Looks like he was in an episode of What If as his character from the MCU, Justin Hammer. See How They Run? I saw that movie. It was okay-ish. More on the bad guys. F is for Family. Oh, he was Vic in that? I watched the entire run of F is for Family. That's a good show. That is a great show. Highly recommend. The One and Only Ivan. Home movie, The Princess Bride. Don't know what that is. Trolls World Tour. Oh my God. What Actors Have to Do. Richard Jewell. Didn't see that. I heard that was okay. Jojo Rabbit. He was in that? Fosse Verdon, The Best of Enemies. I'm going backwards here. After Hours with Josh Horowitz. Vice. He was George W. Bush in Vice. Oh, that was the one with Christian Bale as Cheney, right? Blue Iguana. That doesn't got a good rating. Mute, Blaze, Woman Walks Ahead, 3 billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri. That did well-ish. Got some attention anyway. The Dark of Night, Dishonored 2 video game. Inside Amy Schumer. We're now back in 2016. Drunk History. He was Bugsy Siegel in Drunk History. That's fun. He picked some fun things. Where the hell was his Iron Man? He was in Iron Man 2, right? Or 3. Was it 2 or 3? 2. Yeah, I celebrate the entire Iron Man catalog. But he's sort of a bad guy in that one. 7 Psychopaths, I remember that one. Napoleon Dynamite? Oh, the TV series, and he was a voice on it. He picks a lot of interesting stuff, I'll say that. But yeah, it seems like he hasn't really gotten a lot of gotten his due, I'll say. Indie Phantom. The only episode of What If I'm curious about is, I think, there is one with Howard the Duck, and curious how he's depicted. Choke is a cool Rockwell flick. Choke. Which one's that? Choke. Is that the one based on that author? I think I may have seen this. Choke. Sex-addicted con man pays for his mother's hospital bills by playing on the sympathies of those who rescue him from choking to death. Did I see this? Oh, Chuck Palahniuk. Yeah, I think I did see this. Or at least part of it. Or I'm confusing it. I might be confusing it with another movie. It is an interesting flick if it's the one I'm thinking of. Let's see. And there's a What If with Howard the Duck. What If TV show Howard the Duck. What is that one? What if Howard the Duck got hitched? Okay. A duck-human couple's unexpected offspring becomes the center of a cosmic power struggle as various MCU entities seek the child's prophesized abilities. The new parents face challenges, starting with suspicious vacation offer. Yeah, I don't know if I want to see this because, I feel like they already turned it into something woke and wrong. Howard the Duck was always this sort of tongue-in-cheek kind of story. He had this hot girlfriend who was human, and he was really like duck human, and Like they kind of implied they did it, but I don't know if they never showed it. That's for sure. It was in a comic book, but they would imply they were a couple, and I don't know. I don't think they ever said they actually had sex. It's weird that she would have gotten pregnant. Indie Phantom, he won an Oscar for supporting in something. All right, let's find out that. What did Sam Rockwell win an Oscar for? I don't remember him winning an Oscar, but it's possible. Best Supporting Actor in a Performance is Officer Jason Dixon. Oh, in 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Yeah. He dedicated the award to his late friend, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Oh, that was nice of him. All right, getting back into it. Got a bit off tangent there. But I hear great things about Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. Indie Phantom, 3 Billboards. Yes, sir. You are correct, sir. Come on, numbers. Get me back to the main page here. Oh man, it's so dry outside, which is weird because see if I can get back to the weekend. Come on. There we go. It's finally like warming up here, and it's supposed to rain tonight, and I'm hoping all the snow goes away. It's really just ice. At this point, it's just ice on the ground. So annoying. Number 8, dropping from 3, is Iron Lung. This movie did pretty damn good for a $3 million movie. It's up at 46. So, if this guy, Mark, what's-his-face, got a piece of this, and I strongly suspect he did, he's sitting on a mountain of money. Good for him. Congratulations. Sounds like a weird-ass movie, though. Number 9, dropping from 8, Avatar, Fire and Ash. 3.3. Indie Phantom, Good Luck, Don't Die, Hollywood. Avatar, Fire and Ash won't go away. Why won't Avatar go away? 3.3 million. It's in half as many theaters and still doing okay in its 9th week. Dracula, down to 5th in its 2nd week, dropped only 32%. 3 million? I don't know. Who could see Dracula again? I mean, how many times can you see it? You know what I mean? Dracula. It did better overseas, 29 million worldwide. 9 million here, 20 overseas. No budget listed. I don't know. I guess I wouldn't mind seeing it, but I know the story so well, it's like, how can you not know the story of Dracula at this point? Indie Phantom, Iron Lung split box office with cinemas 50-50, banked over 10 million himself week 1. Well, I'm sure he has some investors. Somebody had to pay. Unless he took all the money he made on the video game and paid everyone. It's kind of a big risk if he did. Bravo if he did. Paid off bigly if it did. After that, it's The Strangers, Chapter 3, 2.2 million in its 2nd week, dropping only 34%. That's pretty good. It's got legs. I kind of hate this franchise, as I hate all franchises that are based on a bunch of people running around murdering people. JEC, who is playing Dracula? In this one, let's see. I know the actor by his face. I don't know his name. Caleb Vandry Jones. I know I've seen him in something. And Christoph Waltz is the priest. So, and that's about it for people I know in this movie. When a 15th century prince denounces God after the loss of his wife, he inherits the eternal curse. He becomes Dracula. Condemned to wander the centuries, he defies fate and death, guided by a single hope to be reunited with his lost love. Luke Benson wrote and directed. Indie Phantom. Yeah, he did a crowdfund with over 40 million YouTube and Twitch subscribers. Oh, man. He's probably rolling in it. Now the key is, he basically told Hollywood to take a hike. He's going to just continue on his own. And good for him, but now you got to keep some of that money. Don't blow it all. Don't blow it all in your movies. JEC. Looks like the Coppola version, only with different colored coat. Yeah, it's got a lot of similar things to the Coppola version, I think. Indie Phantom. Oh, that is weird. He is in Get Out and Twin Peaks: The Return. Get Out. Who is he in Get Out? Seen that? He must be one of the lesser characters in the family scene. JEC. Guy who did The Fifth Element and Professional. Right. I mean, it could be good. I don't know. I'm just kind of sick of seeing Dracula. I'm sure it's like very watchable. I'm sure I would like it. I'm not going out of my way to see Dracula again. I'd have to wait until I had a super need to see some vampires, I guess. Indie Phantom. He is the main victim. Main victim in Get Out. Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie premieres. This is a comedy, 1.25 million. Not bad for only in 365 theaters. Now, Paul Chato, who is a YouTuber who used to be a studio exec, did a video, and he likes both. What the hell's the name now? Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, and Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. He recommends both. He says they're both very funny. And he's pretty good, in terms of a critic. And he's got a good sense of comedy. So I would check both these out. I saw the trailer for Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. Apparently the guys who did it already have like a TV show, and so this is sort of like a show that is, it's like a movie that's a movie version of their show. The idea is they end up going back in time in Seattle to pull off this stunt so their band could become known or something like that. It's a very long running gag, but it looks crazy, so I don't know, I'd see it. Indie Phantom. I skipped Dracula and Frankenstein. Zero interest. Like, yeah, Frankenstein, I have the same sort of attitude with Del Toro's Frankenstein. Like, if it was on, if somebody wanted to watch it, I probably wouldn't say no if I had nothing else to do, or I was sitting in a room playing cards or doing a puzzle or something. But I wouldn't, like, lift a finger to say it. You know what I mean? Like, if I needed some background noise, those two movies, perfectly good background noise. If I'm like doing my taxes or I'm just hanging out somewhere and I want to half pay attention to a movie, Dracula and Frankenstein are two perfect movies to half pay attention to for me, because I've seen them. I know the story so thoroughly, like I probably just tune in and tune out. It's just background noise. But the look of those movies, they look pretty good. So there's that. It'll be good fodder for the AI movies I make in the future. Next up, The Housemaid, still in theaters, 1.11 million in its 9th week. They're already doing a sequel to that. Number 14 is another comedy movie. Our cup runneth over with comedy today. Cold Storage, 1.1 million. It's in about 1,000 theaters. This is Liam Neeson That one of the kids from Stranger Things, forget his name. He just said something stupid and political the other day. And some female co-star I didn't recognize, person of color, about zombies in a storage unit. Like there's some sort of infection, and it's in a storage unit somewhere, and it has to be contained, and something goes wrong with the containment in the storage unit, and he just happens to be there, and there's a breakout, and they have to keep it from getting out of the storage unit. It looks fine. I would say that's my kind of movie, so I would probably say it. I wouldn't expect it to get good reviews or even do that well, but 1.1 million doesn't sound like it's doing well already. It's kind of the wrong time to release it. Valentine's Day weekend? Yeah, I don't have a budget here. I wouldn't have released it this week. Maybe last week or 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago would have been perfect because nothing new came out, I don't think. Or, next week maybe. I mean, February is not a bad time to release a movie like that because the theaters are just dead, and maybe you get a groundswell because of something. The kid from Stranger Things, or maybe Liam Neeson. I don't know, but I mean, Liam Neeson isn't bad in comedies because he plays it straight. But he kind of always plays the same character, whether he's in a funny movie or a not funny movie. Number 10, or number 15, dropping from 10, is Melania in its third week. $886,000. So the people who wanted to see this movie saw it. It's going to go down, 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 and then end up on A&E or whatever, right? It's just a documentary about the First Lady, but it did pretty well for that. In that narrow category, that's probably the most profitable one, depending on whatever the budget is. I can't believe this thing cost $75 million, but that's the rumor with advertising. So with those kinds of numbers, it couldn't possibly make its money back as a documentary, but I can't believe it cost $75 million. I really can't. Number 16, Marty Supreme. I was supposed to watch this weekend, but our Valentine's Day stuff got derailed. So perhaps next weekend, we'll see. $148 million. I think this thing finally, it broke even for the budget at least. And it's up another $4 to $8 million. So maybe that covers the advertising, but I kind of doubt it. They've been advertising the hell out of this thing. So you could call it a break even. Indie Phantom. I watched Primate and Heart Eyes. Oh, I'm so sorry. Both fun slashers. Really? Heart Eyes did look kind of fun, if stupid. Primate, I don't know. I couldn't get into it because I didn't like the pet monkey killing everybody. It just seemed so sad. Indie Phantom. The new Naked Gun was lame, in my opinion. Yeah, it didn't have the energy. It needed like another 25% more jokes in it. And they needed to upgrade it. I hate when they upgrade, modernize a lot of movies. But when it comes to comedy, you gotta be on top of the zeitgeist. And I think that was the main problem with The Naked Gun. It was not on top. They were still doing the same jokes about 70s cop shows. They're 50 years old. Like, you got to do NCIS and Law and Order SVU. Like, those are the shows you got to make fun of. And everybody's seen those shows. So those would have been great fodder for the Naked Gun movie. Absolutely. You could have had a whole scene of... the forensics, They always used to. They even did this on The Simpsons, right? They did an episode of The Simpsons when, the camera zooms in on the evidence and Wiggum's looking at it. Indie Phantom. Melania was made for Amazon. It was? Interesting. Well, that's another reason why it doesn't really have to make money anyway. JEC, 75 million. Maybe if you included the cost of the inauguration? I don't think so. Indie Phantom. Hard Eyes is mostly a comedy. Oh, that's kind of interesting. I don't know why you wouldn't market it that way. Horror comedies are up my alley. I might have seen that damn movie. Huh. Next up is The Moment, number 17, dropping from 13 and 447K. JC, 1970s cop shows. Dragnet was from the 1950s. Right, but there was a lot of 70s stuff in Police Squad. So, like, Dragnet, I mean, the 70s did follow, the 70s cop show did follow some of Dragnet. But, like, for instance, one of the bits on Police Squad was it would cut to, a shot of the Police Squad building. And it would say, tonight's episode, Death of a Salesman. But it wouldn't say Death of a Salesman. It would say, The Butcher Rings Twice, or something. It would say something completely different. And then sometimes they'd come back from commercial and it would say, Police Squad, Act 2, Giants 3. Like, that, all that kind of stuff was from the 70s. That wasn't in the Dragnet show. And then, like, Dragnet didn't have as much action. And, like, there was always a bit where Leslie Nielsen would hide behind trash cans in a gunfight. That's from the 70s. So there's all sorts of 70s bits in Police Squad. JC, they do the Dragnet voiceover on Police Squad? Yes. Yes. But sometimes they would do that in the 70s. Not as often. By then it was getting passé to do voiceovers. They would sort of do it in the Rockford Files because you would hear Jim Rockford's answering machine. And that would be the opening of the show. By the way, that was one of my favorite, that was probably the favorite cop show of mine in the 70s. And they're now bringing it back, which I'm very worried about. But they did have a really good casting choice because they're bringing back David Boreanaz to play Jim Rockford. And he kind of looks like a young version of James Garner. So I'm hoping it could work. He's been on those shows before. I hope it's going to be as fun as the old Rockford Files show was, but we'll see. But that show, I love that show. I celebrate that catalog. Let's see. Next up is Hamnet, otherwise known as Oscar Bait, 429K in its 12th week. Indie Phantom. I did like the Dragnet movie. Oh, the one with Dan Aykroyd and Tom Hanks? It was alright, I guess. I mean, compared to the comedy movies they put out now, it's genius, but it was a higher bar back then. After Hamnet is Pillion. That's the gay biker movie. In its second week, again, it's up 45%, but that's because it was only in 4 theaters and now it's in 20. JEC, he's probably 15 years older than the original actor. Buffy started 30 years ago now. "15 years older than the original actor." James Garner? How old was he? He was pretty old in 1970s. I mean, he was up there. Let's see. 1974. There's James Garner. Highly recommend. How many episodes were there? 119. There were that many. All right. So James Garner was born in 1928. So in 1974, he was less than 50. He was like 46. So how old is David Boreanaz? I don't know how to spell Boreanaz, so I'm just going to go to Buffy and find his name there. Place your bets. He's probably very close. I mean, is he in his 50s? He might be. What the hell was his character's name? I know he had a spin-off show. Gosh, there's a million people on this thing. Okay. There he is. Angel, that was his name. So he was born in 69. So yeah, he is older. Yeah, you're right. Good eye. He's 10 years older. Yeah, 46. JC doing the math. 10 years older. Yep, you're right. JC with all the answers. I'm going to make an AI if I ever do, and I'm going to call it JEC. The JEC AI. Yeah, he is older. I don't know. He doesn't look older. I thought James Garner was much older back then, but he probably smoked. So, smoking puts miles on you. After Pillion, JC, people aged faster back then. Indy Phantom, he is older than me. After Pillion, it's The Mortuary Assistant. I think I did a trailer thing for this, premiering at 267K. I think I do remember this. Follows Rebecca Owens, a mortuary science graduate who takes a night job at Riverfields Mortuary. What begins as a routine job soon turns into a sinister as she faces terrifying supernatural forces. It looks creepy. Kind of sad that the movie didn't do a little better. Probably the wrong time to release it. Would have been a great Halloween movie. It looks scary. It does kind of look creepy. But it's only in 208 theaters. JC, he probably had to fight in Korea or something. James Garner. Let's see. Born in 28. Yeah, he probably missed. He was probably just too young for the Big War, I'll say. But yeah, Korea. Maybe Korea. After that is The Secret Agent, also more Oscar bait, 119K in its 12th week. No Other Choice, the South Korean flick, 88K. Song Sung Blue, still in theaters, 84K. Surat, 56K. The SpongeBob movie, hanging around, 49K. Sentimental Value, more Oscar bait, 15 weeks, 47K. Arco, cartoon, 42K in its 14th week. Man, these movies are hanging around. The Testament of Anne Lee, musical with Amanda Seyfried, 37K. A Poet, 1-2 special, 32K in its third week. Kokuho, 26K. The Love That Remains, 26K. And Natchez, 13,985 for a box office total of 118,274,123. JC, Garner enlisted in the California Army National Guard, serving his first 7 months in California. He was deployed to Korea during the Korean War and spent 14 months as a rifleman in the 5th Regimental. Called it wounded twice in Korea. That'll age it. Oh, yeah. Jeez, twice. Wow. He was a badass. He had that about him. because they said, you know, you didn't mess with Gardner. Like Gardner, like he wasn't one of those actors who was a pushover. No way. He was very hands on. He was in. They brought back his character Maverick, and then Mel Gibson played current Maverick, and he played Dad Maverick. And yeah, he's large and in charge. That guy. Back in the day. So you've been shot twice. I don't think you're gonna be afraid of some wimpy Hollywood director bossing you around. You can be like, hey, I mean, that's like Christopher Lee, you know, being directed by Peter Jackson and having to describe to him what it sounded like to be stabbed, what it sounded like to kill a guy. No. It doesn't sound that like that. No. That's not the way it sounds. It sounds when I killed the guy, it sounded like this. And Peter Jackson just sort of standing there going, this guy killed some dudes. Which was 100% true. So, yeah. That I think made Hollywood better. You know, that there were a lot of veterans in Hollywood. Guys who had fought in the big war and Korea. And I think it made Hollywood better because those guys, they were, I don't know what, you know, I don't have any personal experience with that, but I would have to think that kind of experience sort of set your priorities straight, right? You're not going to get caught up in being famous if you were once in a ditch and nearly, you know, killed, right? You're going to live your life a different way if you got through that, I think. You're not going to waste it being all debauched. LeMay is here. Howdy. LeMay, I have to tell you, I got your email, and then I meant to respond to it, and then I kind of forgot about it. And last night, after I turned off my computer and was just about to get in bed, I was like, oh my God, I never responded to that email. So I apologize for that. I don't think I responded to it anyway. So I'm going to go back and look for it later, and hopefully I'm going to remember to respond. Indie Phantom. Lee made Hollywoke better. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And in fact, there's a cool story when Christopher Lee hosted Saturday Night Live back in the 70s, when they picked guests because they were just cool as F. Christopher Lee was like the top of the list of guys they wanted to host the show. And the cast, and this was the original cast of Saturday Night Live, they were falling all over themselves to be in scenes with Christopher Lee. Lorraine Newman, who was one of the original cast members, was like over the moon to be in a scene with him. I think did they do a Dracula sketch? I don't remember. But I remember watching that, not knowing who Christopher Lee really was at the time, because I don't know, I was like 10. And just going, man, this guy's really good. Even at 10, like, I could tell, like, that guy's a good actor. JEC, what's your email? I'll send you a PDF of my book. It's coming out Wednesday. Didn't you send me the last one? Didn't you have it? I don't want to post it here. Message me on X and I'll give it to you. Thank you. LeMay, that's all right. I just assumed you were very busy. I really was. I got caught up in a bunch of things. I was in a panic because every year I run out of money around this time, and I have to gear up and get a bunch of gigs. And I have to get ahead for my gigs far enough in advance that makes sense, or else I reach a point where I can't book gigs for like the following week. Like, that's too soon. I have to book them at least a month out, because most markets fill up, and most places where I do my Jersey Devil talk, most of them won't like say, oh, come in on Tuesday. They're like, oh yeah, we're booking for April or whatever. So yeah, I was in a bit of a panic, but now I'm finally coming out of it because it's starting to roll in again. South Jersey does provide. JC, I don't have X. I'll message you on Instagram. That's fine. I'll get it there. Thank you. So yeah, the box office is kind of back. kind of back already. And it's really spread out quite a bit. So it's not just one movie holding up the entire box office, really. I mean, Wuthering Heights is kind of a third of it, but and Goat, I mean, between Wuthering Heights and Goat, I guess that's half, but that's not bad. At least it's over 100 million. I mean, it seems to be recovering. So we'll see if this trend holds next week. Still better than last Halloween. So hopefully spring things will break open, and I'm very excited that there are three, count them, three, I hear decent comedies on the list here. Again, that's Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, and I think Cold Storage will probably be. I mean, I like zombie movies, so there's definitely zombies in it, and it's a comedy, so it kind of can't miss for me. I'll at least watch it, even if it sucks. But that's an improvement, I think. Although, you know, those aren't making the money. Indie Phantom movies are back, baby. Nothing to worry about, Hollywood, until you go on strike again. Yeah, they're about to go on strike. There's all kinds of rumors of a strike now. Let's see what's happening in Hollywoke. Check the trades. Over at Fandom Pulse. Oh, I did a video about this. Rumor, D&D 6th edition reboot incoming as Hasbro scrambles to save dying franchise. I don't think there's any possibility you're going to get a good 6th edition unless they fire every woke tard that works at Hasbro, and I don't think there's any chance of that. They just hired one. And they ain't going to fire her. So I think the game is cooked, but you don't really need Hasbro to play Dungeons & Dragons. You just download it online and go to town, make up your own stuff. And there's so much old material that you could dig into. And people still make dungeons and sell them online. I say stick with 3rd edition. That's my recommendation. But D&D is very near and dear to my heart. I played it for ages. I'm a certified dungeon master. I have my certification. And I worked on all kinds of RPGs. I made an RPG, in case you don't know, Complete Mafia for D20. Hey, how you doing? That's my RPG. JC, I sent you a link to the PDF on Instagram. Thank you. I'll check that out. Next up, Star Trek Voyager star Kate Mulgrew lashes out at fan who contrasted Starfleet Academy captain with Janeway. Indie Phantom. Yeah, D&D you can use the old stuff in so many ways. You really can, if you're creative at all. And I highly recommend the old dungeon magazines. And I'm sure there's somewhere online you could download them all now. Because that's what people do now. They sell downloads of old magazines and comics for like nothing. Like literally nothing. I promise you, if you download Dungeon Magazine, you'll have more than enough adventures. You'll have like probably years of adventures. Depending on how often you game. But, you know, it'll be a little weird in your campaign, all these disparate adventures. But, you can work around that. But, yeah, Kate Mulgrew, Captain Janeway. Indie Phantom, I guess Starfleet Academy is really for purists. Yeah, Kate Mulgrew, I don't know why she bothered to wade in on this. I mean, I haven't seen a single YouTuber defend Starfleet Woke Academy yet. I'm sure there's one of them somewhere, but that show is cooked, man. They may have destroyed the franchise. I mean, that is as gay as the Doctor Who franchise now. Super. I mean, they turned up the gay to 11 on that show. And Kate Mulgrew is defending it because what they had, they said that Kate Mulgrew, who was the Captain Janeway, by the way, on Voyager, which wasn't a great show at all. Me and my friends used to watch it every week and make fun of it. It was sort of like a poorly done version of Next Generation. Like, they had a good premise, and then they almost immediately betray it in the first season. It takes about 3 or 4 episodes, and then it goes right back to every other stupid Star Trek show. And but she's defending it because what people are saying is Holly Hunter's captain, who isn't human, but she likes to get in her captain's chair and like curl up like a teenage girl, and a lot of times she's not wearing shoes. And a lot of times when she's in a scene sitting on a chair or a sofa, she's lying down or rolling around, and she just looks stupid. She looks like a little kid who can't sit still. And so what someone said was Kate Mulgrew at least had the dignity, even though the show wasn't that good, a Voyager, something like that. And so they were paying her a compliment, but she came out and defended the woke Star Trek show where you have the Klingon in a dress who's gay, and his family life is from a polyamory relationship, and then there's other gay characters, and it's basically Star Trek. What did Paul Chato called it? Star Trek or Melrose Space. Then someone pointed out that the Jamie Kennedy experiment back in the 90s pulled a prank when they went to the Star Trek people and they pitched them a show that was basically Star Trek High School. And that's essentially what Starfleet Academy is. It's Star Trek High School. So it's about all these petty rivalries and, again, just like tons and tons of identity politics. It's a mess. I watched some of the reviews of the episodes, and I kind of can't even watch those because they show clips of the show, and the clips of the show are so bad I can't take the cringe, and I got to turn it off. Indie Phantom. I have seen a YouTuber that I sometimes watch just because he's older than me and so crazy woke-tarded that it makes me laugh ironically. He was praising Holly Hunter. Really? Wow. JC, a guy I know from the life drawing sessions I go to work on Starfleet Academy, he said it was terrible and everyone on the set knew it was bad and they were making it. Indie Phantom, same guy complained when Naked Gun remake had no anti-ice and Trump jokes. Weird. Yeah, there's definitely no place for anti-ice and Trump jokes in the Naked Gun. The Naked Gun came out before all the anti-ice stuff happened, so I don't even know why you would even think that could be in it. But yeah, the Trump jokes, yeah, people are sick of that, man. I mean, I ran out of Trump jokes in like 2014 when he ran the first time. People forget he didn't run, but he was making noise he was gonna run, and then he didn't. And that was like, I guess that was 2012. So he was sort of laying the groundwork for his run in 2016, I guess. And they were laughing at him then, and I was making jokes about it then. But man, I would make jokes about him turning the White House into a casino because that's what he does, right? But the jokes these guys, I mean, they're not even jokes. They're just yelling at Trump. I hate Trump. It's broke so many comedians. It really has. I mean, Kathy Griffin, who was barely a comedian to begin with, I mean, she's just broken. And now she announced recently, oh, I'm back. I'm uncanceled. And it's like, no one cares, in my view. She's probably getting work again. That's what she's really saying. Is there anything else on this? Not really. Indie Phantom, hard to believe Trump hosted SNL twice, including when he ran in 2015. Yeah. Because they didn't think he would win. Number one, they didn't think he would win. And number two, they thought he was like everybody else. They thought even if he did win, he'd be exactly like anyone else who got the job. He'd just sort of phone it in and be a Republican and kind of pretend to be Republican and run his 8 years out, and that would be it, you know. And he'd listen to all his advisors and he'd never make waves. How'd that work out? Oh boy, did they make a mistake. Christopher Judge talks about what's missing from modern day sci-fi. How about talent? Yeah, how about talent? But the Stargate show is in the pipeline, and they've got a lot of the original people working on it. So that might be, if you're a fan of Stargate, that might be a good show. I don't know. They killed off the 1990s Ghost Rider Danny Ketch, like anybody even remembered what that was. Indie Phantom, it's great that Trump broke their frickin' minds. It's so funny that he did. Because when you don't have a broken mind, you see that and go, what is wrong with you? Why can't you just accept the man is president? Why can't you just... And like, you cannot talk reasonably with people with TDS. It's so amazing to me. I have relatives that if you even come close on the Venn diagram to politics, they go down into the Trump rabbit hole and you can't talk to them. That's it. That's the end of that night's conversation. And at that point, I just start making moves to leave because there's nothing else to do. They're so far down that rabbit hole, they can't understand why anyone would disagree with them on Trump. They're so convinced he's the embodiment of evil. They just go on and on and on. Locally here in South Jersey, there's a town near me, and this made national news, by the way. Indie Phantom, he made them not funny, which is a unique skill set for comedians. Right. You'd think it would be a skill set that they would protect, but they were willing to destroy that. So here in South Jersey, we have a town called Lindenwold. It was a town I used to live in. Anyhow, there was an ICE raid near a school bus that was, I think it was near a school or it was near a school bus stop where children were getting on the bus. And in Lindenwold, we have our share of illegal aliens and their children, right? So some of these children, and they were in 4th or 5th grade, are illegal aliens. But the ICE guys weren't there for them. So when they saw the ICE guys roll up, they panicked and they all started running. And they didn't get on the bus. So it made the national news. I don't know if you heard about it. And the Democrats picked it up as a reason not to fund DHS and ICE and blah, blah, blah. So it's their latest George Floyd thing. Indie Phantom, I want ICE to raid Canada. Well, as soon as they're done down here, we'll send them up to you. Because at some point, they're going to be done here, and good luck canceling all the money we're sending to them now. So I hope at least we could use them for you, but I don't know. It's going to be very interesting post the illegals out. But the amazing part about the story of Lindenwold was they're now interviewing the students and the parents who were involved, you could say. And so they interviewed a family, and they're all illegal aliens. Right? So ICE was perfectly valid to come get the adults anyway, and they're going to have to pick up their children eventually. So why are they running? So everybody in the media and the Democrats are going, oh my God, they're so scared. They've been traumatized. That's not the fault of ICE. That's the fault of the parents, number one, for putting them in that position because they knew they were putting them at that position. And number two, that's the fault of the media for making ICE out to be such terrible, terrible guys. Now, I'm not a huge fan of law enforcement in general. I think our law enforcement has a little too much power. I think they do way too much and they need to be depowered. But if you're actually breaking the law, well, then that's a different story. Then it's appropriate that they're present and doing things. And as long as they didn't shoot anybody or hurt anybody, it's not their fault that your kids are running. That's the fault of the media and the people who are essentially demonizing ICE. And I hate that they keep doing that because that's very divisive. Now, the second part of this story is right after this happened, like the day after, a group of commies showed up in Lindenwold. Now, in Lindenwold, they built this massive place, this massive municipal building I call the Lindenwold Palace. And they moved the police station there and everything else there. And they spent a ridiculous amount of money. And it took them, 5 years to build the damn thing. I don't know what's in there, but it must be amazing. Or it must be all union work, which is why it took so long. So they staged a protest there. And of course, it's on one of the main roads through town. And I'm in the next town trying to get back home after an event. And now you got a bunch of anti-ICE idiots standing on this road telling people to honk and slow down. And they're all slowing down and crossing the street, causing all kinds of mayhem. And it's like, what the hell are you idiots doing? And so they interviewed a guy who was at the protest, and he actually cried about the kids getting off the bus. And he's holding an American flag, and I couldn't have pegged it more than a complete setup. It looked like a complete setup. It looked like they hired a guy to go there and cry on camera, because there's no way I believe a guy would cry on camera for that. But I guess these people are so indoctrinated they would. But it's just unbelievable to see people who are incapable of thinking for themselves. Anyhow, that's my rant. Let's move on. Let's get back to the important things in life, movies. All right, over at Variety, you got the Spirit Awards. Another awards show. I know you love those. Hopefully we'll get a rundown of all the horrible clothing options and the hot chicks. Let's see. Oh, here's Tom Morello. Remember him? He's in Rage Against the Machine. I'm sorry. Rage for the Machine. He's co-directing The Ballad of Judas Priest. And he said, what a time to be alive when you can both make a documentary about your favorite band and fight fascism. He is like the poster boy for, like, to me, for the people who they're rich, they're entitled, but they'll use the word fascism completely unironically. Like, I'm fighting fascism. You're Tom Morello, millionaire guitarist and now director. You're not exactly hurting, and I don't see you using all that money to start your socialist thing, whatever it's going to be. And it's just insane that these people with money think that if socialism came to America, that they would get to keep their money. It just wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't happen. They would get drained and drained of their money. And when the real revolution happened, guess who would be going first? It wouldn't be a poor guy like me. No, it would be people like Tom Morello. And I'm not suggesting that should happen or any way. I don't want the revolution. I don't want any harm to come to Tom Morello. But that's the communist playbook. They go after the rich. They go after the rich, the bourgeois. And that's what Tom would be considered under an actual communist system. So it's insane to me that they would promote this. It's a kind of suicidal empathy, I think. LeMay. Some of those paid protesters make hundreds of dollars per day protesting. Yeah, to me, this guy 100% looked like a paid protester. And they should double his pay because he was really good. And that clip was all over social media. And including a guy I used to work with reposted it. And I refused to get into an argument with him about politics because he's another one. He's got severe TDS. And he once lectured me online, and I just kind of ignored him. You can't argue with these people. You just have to ignore them. And hope that one day they'll embarrass themselves to such a point they'll look at themselves and say, what the hell am I doing? What the hell am I doing? Or they'll leave the country. I mean, I think some of these people should really leave the country just to go get a taste of what it's like in other countries. Because they think they know so damn much. You know, there was another idiot, I forget what they were on, talking about how great Europe is. I'm like, go to Europe. No one's stopping you to move to Europe. Go ahead and move there. Pay the taxes there. Enjoy the bureaucracy. And then come back and tell me why you were wrong. Why the United States is awesome. Why everybody wants to come here. And good luck getting back once you're out. So, this is a big story, I think, in Hollywoke. Berlin Ale issues statement following political backlash at festival, says artists should not be expected to speak on every political issue. So this is a Berlin Film Festival, and the Berlin Film Festival is basically encouraging people not to be political, not to ask the actors political questions and the celebrities. To which I say, hooray! And I did another video on this, and it was Michelle Yeoh, who's kind of political, and then Neil Patrick Harris, who's mostly not. They refused to answer political questions at the festival, and good for them. Good for them finally getting the memo and at least trying not to make it political. Because it's so bad now in Hollywood. These people have to constantly virtue signal. It's annoying and it's distracting from the industry. Indie Phantom. Oh yeah, good job, Berlin. Yeah, I mean, who would have thought? I mean, Germany's in bad shape, as a country in terms of the woke stuff. I mean, you want to turn up the woke to 19. That's what Germany did. But Indie Phantom, Michelle Yeoh, Michelle Yo-Yo, she goes back and forth. Yeah, she said some really stupid things, but maybe she's turning over on a new leaf. I want to believe that she's going to stop talking politics. Eventually, it will be the trend not to talk about politics in Hollywood. That trend is going to happen. And when that happens, they'll all shut up. Because that'll be the trend. The trend right now is to talk about politics. Everybody's got a pet thing, and everybody's got to talk about it. Everybody's got a virtue signal. But there may come a point where they finally say, no, don't virtue signal. Don't talk about politics. We don't want you to talk politics. And when that happens, guys like Mark Ruffalo are in big trouble. Because he's way too closely tied to being an activist. He's not going to be able to shake that, even if he shuts up, which I don't think he will. So, and there's too many people behind the scenes in Hollywood now that'll probably still encourage it. So, it's not going to be until more serious, I should say, financial downsides happen. Like, Rachel Zegler is an example of someone who basically destroyed her career because she just wouldn't shut up about politics. Now, you could argue that it was also partly on the projects she was tied to, but she was in the Hunger Games prequels, and they did okay. Like, at least the one she was in, the first one, made money. So, it wasn't all bad in her career, but yeah, the Snow White thing might be a watershed where actors finally go, ooh, I don't want to end up like Rachel Zegler, if they get to the point where they're taking, projects like Zegler was taking. And now it doesn't seem like they want to cast her in much. But I bet she comes back for that Hunger Games thing. Indie Phantom, Zegler might well have to set herself on fire. Well, we wouldn't want to see that. And I'm being totally serious. I don't want to see anybody hurt. I'm just reading the chat. I don't want anything done illegally. The Epstein Files have become the ultimate disturbing horror movie. No wonder we can't look away. I have to admit that's true. I have been watching Asmongold's takes on the Epstein Files. He just plays and plays videos and then, makes comments. I kind of like his commentary, mostly because he doesn't make that much commentary. Like, he'll play a chunk and then he'll say something, and he'll play another chunk and he'll say something. He played, he's a bit, I think Asmongold, though, is a bit of an authoritarian in his views. He played Marco Rubio's speech to some European a-holes. It was a pretty good speech. if you haven't seen it. But the Epstein file stuff, holy cow. He was playing a video of somebody else doing an analysis of it. And let me tell you something. They're just so horrific. Some of the things they're talking about, it's just awful. Pulp Fiction writer says it was impossible to get his movies made until he started an AI production company. Just put AI in front of it, and all of a sudden, you're in production on 3 features. Wow. Indie Phantom, you read my post wrong, but it was closed. Oh, wait. Zegler might as well have set herself on fire. Oh, okay. I see what you mean. You mean her career on fire. Indie Phantom, more her career. Yes. Sorry about that. JC, man ate a lot of jerky. Man ate a lot of jerky. Oh, right. Epstein. Now I get it. Yeah, that was a dark passage in it. They're referring to jerky in the Epstein files. And think about the darkest thing that the jerky could be made out of. And that's it. And that seems to be the clear implication for some of those emails. It's messed up. It's messed up beyond belief. Let's see. Cine star Wumi Masaku has not been able to celebrate her Oscar nomination because of the, quote, killings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy by ICE. How could I enjoy the moment? Because that had nothing to do with you. You weren't there, I assume. They're not you. I assume you're not related to them or knew them in any way. Come on. Talk about a virtue signal. Let's just, well, okay, let's just stop the world. All right, don't go to the Oscars then until their horrible killings are brought to justice. Yeah, quit acting. Go home and stay in your house and become an activist and stop making all this money if you're so upset. LeMay, yeah, that was vile. I mean, it's beyond vile. I mean, I'm just like, it just leaves you cold when you read some of that stuff. Let's see. J. Cole, I don't know who that is, debuts his #1 with Best First Week for an R&B hip-hop album in nearly a year. Bad Bunny hits a new sales peak after Super Bowl. Oh, you fail to mention that Kid Rock beat him out in one of the listings. I forget which one. There's so many listings for music. People were downloading one of Kid Rock's older songs at a higher rate than Bad Bunny, apparently, is what I read. So, producer David Kaplan talks risking it all on Josephine and developing It Follows sequel. I heard that movie was good. That's a horror movie. It takes a village of people who believe. All right, moving on to Bounding into Comics. Imported Zorro TV series starring Oscar winner takes a page out of Daredevil comics. This is the a French version of Zorro. So, I don't know. Maybe it's good. So, I'm not sure what platform that's on. Marvel kicks off Spider-Man Brand New Day marketing with comic book return to Spidey's most celebrated modern era. Okay. Are you going to get rid of all the woke stuff in the comics now? I hope so. I don't think so. Markiplier wants Iron Lung to stay indie from start to finish. Says he might start burning Blu-rays on his own. Good for him. I mean, with all the money he made, you could just buy a building and set up a business, I assume. Prime Video VP says Ghost in the Shell, Fist of the North Star lead Amazon's plan to become the preferred destination for anime. Good luck with that. I don't know. I guess if you build up a big enough library. Indie Phantom, It Follows is pretty cool. If they dropped the opening scene, it would have been more suspenseful. Kind of spoils itself a bit. More rumored plot details of Godzilla X Kong Supernova leak. Is Kong getting another upgrade? I assume he will, since it's going to be like Space Godzilla or something. All right, let's drop into the Hollywood Reporter. More Spirit Awards. I don't really care. Sorry Baby wins Best Screenplay at 2026 Spirit Awards. First time filmmaker Eva Victor says she can only make it independently. Good for her. Indie Phantom, I feel Iron Lung is really for gamers. I think it kind of is because it's based on the game. It has a very strange plot. My understanding is it takes place like in space, and it's this planet that has an ocean made of blood, and then the main character's sent in a submarine down into the ocean. I feel like it's probably a metaphor for something else, maybe, but I don't know. I don't really know much about it. But I kind of want to see it now that it did so well, and maybe it's good. I don't know. I'll wait for it to land somewhere. More Spirit Awards. Spirit Awards. Dead by Daylight, speaking of games, movie adaptation lands The Conjuring Crawl combo as writers. Indie Phantom, Mike Flanagan is remaking The Mist for some reason. Again? It's way too soon to remake that movie. They just did the one with Thomas Jane. How long ago was that? Was that even like 5 years ago? I don't think so. New Charlie's Angels movie in the works with screenwriter Peter Chiarelli. I know you're excited about that. I mean, if anything needs to be remade again, it's Charlie's Angels. Because reasons? I mean, look, the first version I thought was terrible. You know, the movie version. But at least Cameron Diaz was still hot in it. And they all look pretty good in it. Even though it looked, you know, the story itself was just god-awful. I couldn't even sit through it. The second version with Elizabeth Banks was just, oh, that was just brutal, in my opinion. So unless if they go back to Bikini Girls, maybe. But that's all it was. It was like soft porn for people in the 70s. Like, oh, this week the Angels go to another bikini contest. I mean, it was every week they were in a bikini for some reason. Or a wet t-shirt contest or something. It was the dumbest show ever, but we watched it because hot chicks were on it. Like the hottest chicks in the 70s. So. Indie Phantom. I will see it on the highest of Red Seas. 2008 that was? Really? It was that long ago? JEC. The Kristen Stewart version came out just like 5 years ago. Indie Phantom. Even the TV version wasn't great. Yeah, but they were hot. So I can forgive it. Hold on. Because back in the 70s, you know, we didn't have the internet. All we had was TV. And so when the show came on, it was like, ooh, we're going to watch some hot chicks. And I don't know how old was I then? I think it was like 13. So being able to watch that on TV was like a big deal. I mean, yeah, the stories were crap, but I didn't care about the story. Indie Phantom. Charlie's Angels did a crossover with The Love Boat, which I enjoyed as a kid. They did? No way. I don't remember that at all. Was there a crossover with Charlie's Angels and The Love Boat? I don't remember this. Oh my God, there was. September 12th, 1979, the 4-season premiere of Charlie's Angels. Debut of Shelley Hack Tiffany Wells. Oh, this was late in the run. By that time, I had stopped watching it, I think. Jesus. Crossover elements. Regular Love Boat cast member Gavin McLeod, who went to my college, by the way. Captain Steubing. Bernie Capel, who used to be on Get Smart. He was very funny. Fred Gandy. And Ted Lang. He was the guy who would go. And Lauren Jules. Julie was still on it. I think she got really addicted to coke and left the show. Something like that. I can't believe it. Oh, they all made cameos. The episode was a rating success, topping the Nielsen charge for the week. It's remembered as a nostalgic... Man, I don't remember this at all. Despite the crossover, the story remained focused on the Angels' investigation, with the Love Boat crew serving as incidental characters. No way. That's amazing. Indie Phantom. 70s TV wasn't woke. I was born in 70. Stop fact-checking me, Tony. I'm not fact-checking. I had to know some more context. Ted Lang played some pimps back in the blaxploitation era. Ooh, says Indie Phantom. See, I believe you. Oh, man. I got to see this episode. I wonder if I could see it somewhere. I bet it's online. I can't believe there was a crossover and I missed it. Where was I? Oh, right. So new Charlie's Angels and, of course, Fox's Baywatch reboot cast Stephen Amell to lead series. He was Green Lantern, right? I think he was Green Lantern. I'm doing a lot of IMDb stuff tonight. I thought he was Green Lantern. Maybe I'm thinking of a different guy. No, it must be. I must be thinking of a different guy. So, yeah. So Baywatch is back, but again, Baywatch was just the '90s version of Charlie's Angels. It was just like hot chicks on TV. Indie Phantom, yeah, you can find those episodes easily, I think. I may have to watch that. I will laugh my ass off watching that. So here's an article. Again, this goes to my theory that entertainment studios go to the entertainment press and they just flat out buy articles. And then they, because they're buying them ahead of time, the entertainment press writes them to put them in the pipeline down the road, like months in advance, without any sense of like whether or not the article's relevant at all. So here's an article, Inside Marvel's Meta Wonder Man campaign. So they're talking about the show like it's popular, and it didn't do well. It did worse than, I think, Echo, which did not do well at all on Disney Plus in terms of the ratings. Now, it did better than Star Trek, Starfleet Academy, I think, but still, it seems like a weird show to brag about. Oh, like, let's get inside how the Meta campaign made Wonder Man the success it is. It's like, I don't think it was a success, and yet you have this article. It points, to me, it indicates that they did the article like weeks ago. It's already paid for. They're going to run it anyway and hope like, oh, maybe somebody will start watching the show. Indie Phantom, Babe Watch is cool. I remember being tripped up that there was some serious stuff on Love Boat happening. Right? That would be weird to see those characters in sort of a... I mean, Charlie's Angels wasn't that serious of a show, but it wasn't a comedy. It was meant to be taken seriously. Not that you really could, but that's funny. All right, moving on to Bleeding Fool. DC reveals a new wave of covers for Superman Spider-Man #1, if you're interested in that crossover. A lot of crossover news tonight. Neil Gaiman, remember him? Dodges multiple sex scandal lawsuits in the U.S. But see, I thought most of the stuff that had happened in New Zealand. But I guess not. Or I guess they sued him in the U.S. And so it seems like he's getting out of it, which means, I don't know, like, again, like, we have a court system. People go to the court system, things happen, and nobody seems to care, right? So Justin Roiland, who created Rick and Morty, which is still on the air, got S-Can from that show and a bunch of other projects he was working on when his scandal broke. But the end result was there were no charges, and, you know, whatever lawsuit was pending is, you know, doesn't seem to be happening or didn't happen. So it's like, I don't know if he did anything or not. I mean, it seems like maybe he did something possibly unethical, but I don't know if that has anything to do with the show. And if it wasn't illegal, you know, and are they still paying him? I think they're kind of still paying him, but they're definitely not paying him as much, I would think, because he's no longer talent on the show. So the same thing kind of applies to Neil Gaiman, right? Like, if they find nothing, like if all these lawsuits are dismissed, what about all these projects he had? He can't sue the people who went after him. They probably don't have any money. So, like, I don't know. I'm torn. On the one hand, he might be guilty, but on the other hand, he's been exonerated to a degree. Indie Phantom. As a kid, I was very serious about my angels. Actually, I was a Bionic Woman fanboy. Fembots were sexy and terrifying, which confused my loins. Well, the first there were a lot of fembots that weren't women, but sure. I did like the fembots. I never got to, I remember seeing some of them and being freaked out by them. They were freaky. When the face fell off back in the 70s, that was freaky because you weren't expecting it. Because, like, they didn't have a good effect, right? So what they would do in the 70s is they would cut away and then maybe, like, you'd see the obvious fake face fall to the ground, and then the character would look back up, and the actor playing the fembot would no longer have a face. It would be like a robot face with eyes, and you'd be like, oh my god, his face fell off. Oh my god, he's one of the bots. So it was kind of scary. I did like the Bionic Woman. I liked all the Bionic shows. Once they got to the Bionic Kid, though, then it started to get stupid. The Bionic Man was great. I couldn't understand why they stopped that show. But it got weird, you know, with Bigfoot. Adding Bigfoot and the Bionic Man, I just didn't understand why they were doing it. They were, like, trying to tie it into, like, aliens, and that, like, the Bigfoot had bionics too. And I was just like, huh? This doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I mean, like, what do you do about a guy who has these very strong accusations against him, but then skates, right? Like, so Kevin Spacey was essentially exonerated from everything. Everything. He's, you know, he hasn't gone to jail. He's won every charge against him. And yet, is he guilty? I don't know, but his character was killed off on his own show. He was fired from just about everything. Like, he can't get any of that back. But should he get it back? But then you got a guy like John Travolta, who was accused. He also, again, something happened, and I guess they withdrew the case or whatever. And he's fine, right? He's still kind of working. Chris Noth, who was on Sex and the City, he was like the boyfriend of Longface, what's her face, the main character, Carrie Bradshaw, and he got accused. He didn't even get sued or arrested or anything, but he got axed immediately, and they killed off his character. They could never bring him back. Indie Phantom, Gaiman was canceled without a fair shake like many others. Feel like even if this was totally cleared, people would still not accept it. Yeah, and it's like, I see it from the other side too, like, because I was thinking today, like, if I was doing a Pineys TV show and then one of the actors got accused, what would I do? Right? Would I recast him? But like the guy, I would probably, by the time a show like that would happen, I'd probably know that cast member and be friends with him. I wouldn't want to believe the guy did anything wrong, but I probably wouldn't know him well enough to know for sure he didn't do anything wrong. So you'd have to wait. But do you just put the show in limbo? You may be contractually obligated not to do that. So then the only other choice would be to like replace his character or recast him, at least temporarily, but then, it's kind of over once you recast somebody. So I was just like driving in the car thinking about that, going, oh man, that would be awful. That would be so awful. Because there's the optics of it too, right? So if you have a show that the optics are that it's for kids, although the Piney's not really for kids, but maybe a lot of people are watching it, by standing by your friend, you might hurt the show, especially if it turns out he was doing something wrong. But on the other hand, you're just going to throw the guy under the bus without any money. It just seems wrong. It's such a conundrum. Indie Phantom, the Robo faces are still cool as F. I watch the episodes on DVD sometimes. The Bigfoot creeped me out too. Andre the Giant in most episodes. Travolta was accused? Don't even recall. He was accused by a massage therapist, a male one. But I think it was all dropped. Indie Phantom, Pineys would probably work best as animation. Now, I thought of that. It would be cool because then I could do a lot of the voices. I wouldn't just have to do one. And then I could definitely be in it. There'd be no question, I think. Hollywood's digging up the Mummy 4 with Frasier back. I think this is a good thing. I think it'll be I don't want them to do 3 more movies, but 1 more movie would be cool. I wasn't a huge fan of the Mummy franchise. It's one of those movies I could sort of take or leave, but I definitely watched the first one. I think I saw I guess I watched them all. I don't remember. They're kind of all blur together. They're like good, but they're not that good to me. But I didn't grow up with them. But I would watch a 4th one. I would like to see the character come back and Rachel Weisz. They were fun. Especially now. I mean, there's nothing even close to... That's really the problem. The bar is now so effing low. I'm like thirsty for anything that's halfway good from the past. Let's see. Oh, here's an article that I talked about earlier in the week. Struggling comic book publishers' desperate IP heist angers artist. I don't know if I'd call it a heist, but IDW Publishing basically is changing their terms for their creators. Now, I still don't understand how IDW is even still in business, but somehow it continues to grind on. But they're apparently tightening the reins on all their creator-owned stuff and making it harder for creators to leave or own their own work or whatever. But you don't have to sign the deal with them. That's the thing. So, I mean, it doesn't sound good for IDW, but I still don't know how they're in business now. So, for me, I just wouldn't even go there. Indie Phantom, first Mummy was okay because there was a hot Egyptian chick in scant costumes. Yes. The Rock was dreadful as the Scorpion King. Yeah, he wasn't great. I don't know how that turned into The Rock, like the career, but man, they loved that guy. For the longest time, Hollywood loved Dwayne Johnson. Just loved him. Would put him in anything. They put him in Get Smart, and that movie, the reboot of Get Smart, and that was the second reboot of Get Smart, or the third maybe. It was brutally bad. They've all been bad. The only good ones were the ones, in my opinion, that Don Adams were in. The original Get Smart guy. But they did one with Andy Dick, which was just so... Like, Andy Dick, to me, is still kind of funny, because he's such a maniac. I think he should have a reality show, really. He's so crazy to me. But, you know, he wasn't right for Maxwell Smart. He wasn't going to... He was just going to F around. But then they did this other reboot with Steve Carell, and they tried to kind of made a movie franchise, and it so didn't work. Indie Phantom, one film you should try to review, Tony, is Southland Tales, which is nuts. I've heard the tales of Southland Tales. Initially, I really wanted to see it, but it went out of theaters so quickly, I kind of missed the boat and then got distracted by something else. Because I remember seeing the trailer for it and going, "Ooh, that's the Donnie Darko guy, right?" And it looked crazy and weird, and I kind of wanted to see it. And then later I read the write-up, and I was like, "Oh my God, this movie's incomprehensible." More on the Spirit Awards. Anatomy of a Fall star Sandra Huller gets rave reviews from a new Berlin Film Festival movie, Rose. Oh, okay, that's where she's from. I saw this trailer. Excuse me. It's about a woman in the 17th century who passed herself off as a man to fight in a war and to regain her family's homestead, right? And so she gets it, but then they for some reason they assign her a wife, and she marries her, and then I don't think the wife knows, and she's trying to cover up the fact that she's actually a woman, but then the wife finds out or something like that. I don't know, but it's a weird movie, but they're touting it as some sort of gender bender thing, which it kind of is, but it's kind of, I feel like it's kind of not meant to go down that road, but I think they're going to push it as kind of woke. It is kind of woke, though. Indie Phantom, I was watching a flick that Andy Dick directed. He directed something? That was actually funny. It showed up on Tubi last week because they had a James Van Der Beek section adding for his RIP. Oh, that's sad. Let's see what Andy directed something? I gotta know this. Okay. Let's see. Here he is, actor. Here's writer. Tiger Dick. TV series. 8.9 this got. That was 2020. I don't see anything he directed, or he didn't get credit anyway. He's in a lot of stuff, though. Was it Asteroid Vixens? T-Bird? The Wizard Zone? Tiger Dick. That sounds funny. Hard Plastic. Those are from 2020. This is stuff he wrote. Producer, maybe. Division III football's finest? He was an EP on that? Indie Phantom. Yeah, it's about a director, like a mockumentary feature film. Oh, okay. Roach or something. Yeah, I'm not seeing it, but... Oh, maybe it's this one? Tschinger? Look for him as director. It's a film. No. Yeah, it might not be listed for one reason or another. IMDb has been dropping the ball, I think, recently. Roan, maybe. Yeah, I'm not seeing it under actor, writer, or upcoming. Or, yeah. It might, maybe. Oh, wait, here it is. Danny Roan, first time director. He's the EP on it. Okay. So this is on Tubi? Oh, he is a director on it. Now, see, they didn't give him credit on his IMDb page. All right. Where's this from? This is from 2006, but I guess it's running on Tubi now. This is before he really had his troubles, I'll say. Or during them, I don't know. All right. I have to try to catch that. Where was I here? We did that. We did that. All right. Deadline. We did that. Now we're into comic book news. Rob Liefeld says Marvel has taken Star Wars crossover pitches. What the F are you going to do with a Star Wars Marvel crossover? I don't even know what the story would be. It wouldn't make any sense. Like, the Star Wars characters come to Earth, I guess? Or the Empire does? Is it going to be MCU versus the Empire? Indie Phantom. Yeah, it opens with him on Kimmel. I don't know, man. A Marvel Star Wars crossover. It just seems like the wrong thing to cross over. It doesn't seem like, I guess you could have the Marvel heroes decimating the stormtroopers. But, and I guess they could team up with the Rebel Alliance. And, and then you could have Luke and Leia and those guys. Indie Phantom, Howard the Duck with Grogu, maybe? I don't know. It just seems... Well, they're both owned by Disney. They can do it. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something, Disney. Maybe with, like, the Guardians of the Galaxy. That could work, right? They're already in space. But I don't know, man. I think it would probably be cooler. I bet it's going to be the Empire comes to Earth. I think it should probably be the MCU characters go to Star Wars universe. Like they get sucked through a wormhole or something, end up trapped there, and they have to find a way out. That to me would be a better version of it. Indie Phantom, Disney won't F that up. Oh yeah, it's going to be... I wonder what the pronouns of everybody is going to be. Oh boy, I can't wait. I can't wait until I get lectured on how ice is just like the Empire. I can't wait for that. Marvel, it's time to celebrate Nova's 50th anniversary. Wow, he's 50. Indie Phantom. Yeah, Guardians is why I said Howard. He is a cosmic character in the MCU. Yeah, if you're going to make it a total farce, I would put Howard the Duck in it, sure. You could have Howard, beat the Empire. Him and Beth. Oh my God. Every week now, Cosmic Book News puts out another article about Zack Snyder posting pictures about him shooting Superman or the JLA or whatever. I mean, just give it up. If it happens, it happens. But my God. You guys really want this to happen. I think it won't do a damn thing. And you're probably going to lose someone in the mix, right? You probably lose Henry or Gal Gadot or Ben Affleck or two or the three. You'll probably definitely lose Jason Momoa. He's not coming back as Aquaman. Yeah, now he's Lobo. I don't think there's any possibility this is happening, but whatever. Whatever. Baywatch reboot? Yeah, Arrow's Stephen Amell. Okay. Yeah, he was Green Arrow. I thought so. Indie Phantom. Remember Guardian teased Howard the Duck in post credits. No. Which movie was that? Was that in the first one or like the third one? I didn't see the third one. Henry Cavill joins Game of Thrones. Leak reveals a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms season 2 casting. I so don't care. People were already complaining about this show. So, I don't know. I just don't care about Game of Thrones anymore. Its time is done. Terminator Zero canceled at Netflix, confirms Mattson Tomlin. I didn't see any of this. Don't care. Terminator was never meant to be a franchise beyond a couple of movies. Maybe 3. I mean, a third movie was doable. And they kind of effed it up. And then after that, I don't know why you bothered. This is a franchise that just beaten to death until they inevitably reboot it, in which case I'll be like, oh, here we are. Indie Phantom. First or second Guardians? I only watched the first and loathed James Gunn. I like the first one a lot. The second one's so bad. I couldn't wait to get out of the theater in the second one. And Kurt Russell's in it, who I love, but that second one's bad, in my view. Yeah, like Terminator would be cool. Terminator versus, like Terminator versus RoboCop, the comic book was pretty good. But it was written by Frank Miller. It was pretty damn good. And it had a tie-in to the Terminators that made a lot of sense, and RoboCop together, perfectly good. And in fact, one of the AI movies that was floating around X was RoboCop and Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator beating the hell out of each other. Indie Phantom. Terminator 2 is still a top 5 action movie. It really is. It's just so good. The pacing on it's amazing. It just goes from one thing to the next. It never lets up. That's what I want in a movie. I want an action movie that never lets up. It barely stops for a breath. And Terminator 2 was almost a perfect movie in that respect. There's not an ounce of fat on that movie. They don't bother explaining everything that went before that much. They just get right into it. And the Terminator just starts killing people. That's what we want. Transformers, the movie, turns 40 with Hasbro's apology tour. I don't understand what that means. Are they apologizing for being woke? But they're apologizing for killing off Optimus Prime, which then they eventually undid. So I don't know what you're apologizing for. But the 1986 movie is amazing if you're a Transformers fan. It was Orson Welles' last movie. Indie Phantom, but I don't want a new Terminator from Cameron. Yeah, I don't want one either. I think he should just... Really, I think Cameron needs to go back to if he's still going to make movies, I would love to see him go back to something way more basic, way more low budget, and get back into making a good story, maybe from somebody who wrote a script as opposed to his developed ideas, because Avatar, I think, is just a mess narratively. I mean, it looks great, but... Oh, here's the... if you want to see the sea dance videos, you got Thanos versus Superman, Brad Pitt versus Tom Cruise, Ethan Hunt versus John Wick. There's a whole bunch of them. They're pretty cool. It's just like a 20-second fight scene. And that's the best part about it, right? It's just like, it's just what we want. We just want the fight. My dream, and I pitched this to Marvel, I think, one time, is I wanted to do a Marvel comic that was all one fight. Like that was from cover to cover, it was just a fight. So, and they almost did it in a like the Hulk Thing crossover, which would be perfect. I would love that. As a kid, I would have loved that. Just just starts off, they bump into each other, get mad, just start wailing on each other. Oh, it'd be great. Indie Phantom, Orson held to a life long enough because he needed that Transformers credit on his bio. Yes, he did. He was the voice of Omnicron, the planet. So the entire planet transformed too. Castlevania revival announced for 40th anniversary. What are you going to do when you run out of 80s stuff, Hollywood? Star Wars Galactic Reaper reveals official gameplay trailer. They just keep putting Star Wars stuff out, heedless of how it does, I think. So, but the good news is a John Wick video game's in development with Keanu Reeves. I think that'll be cool. I haven't seen like the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 John Wick movies, but a video game I'm all about. I want to do John Wick moves on the video game. That sounds like fun. Indie Phantom, why I wish Marlon Brando had been healthy enough to do his Scary Movie 2 cameo, although James Woods killed it. I didn't know he was slated for that. Oh, I heard about another cameo that that didn't happen because an actor died. Burt Reynolds was originally cast in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He was going to be the Bruce Dern role, but he died, I think, about 2 weeks before shooting, unfortunately. That would have really changed that movie, I think. And the idea apparently was that he wanted an Oscar before he died, and Quentin was going to give him that role, hoping he would get a nod for, like, supporting actor. Indie Phantom, Ballerina was not great. Anna was hot, though. Always hot. Always hot. Spider-Man Brand New Day merch reveals Boomerang, Hulk, and Scorpion. So there's that. New Masters of the Universe reveals Ram Man, Fisto, Fisto, Castle Grayskull, and more. The weird thing is, like, if you had a time machine and went back to the 80s and told people these headlines, they would just think you were nuts. Ram Man in a movie? Like a real movie? Indie Phantom. Yeah, Reynolds, I was excited and pissed that QT didn't shoot his stuff earlier. Dern was great, though. He's always good in those roles. Yeah. Yeah, it's such a shame, but, you know, you never know when you're going to go check out. He was sick, though. My friend, the cinematographer, was telling me, like at that point, he could barely walk, so he wrote it specifically for him so he wouldn't have to walk. Indie Phantom, not sure there was enough there for Oscar buzz, but it might have been different. I think it would have changed that whole scene, because Bruce Dern, like crazy guy in the desert, yeah, that's a Bruce Dern call. But like if it's Burt Reynolds, like that's different. Like if he's going to be handsome Bruce Reynolds out in the desert, he could be maybe the charismatic cult leader. Maybe. I don't know. It would have been weird. The Wrap. More on Wuthering Heights. More on The Rose. Paramount insists ByteDance stop the use of copyrighted material to train AI models and cease and desist blatant infringement. Good luck with that. Now they got a little bit of money now that Paramount got bought by a company with deeper pockets, Skydance, but Wasserman Agency investor Providence Equity supports ownership transition. We remain fully committed. So Wasserman came out in the Epstein files and he's getting pretty destroyed. So he's now basically been, in my opinion, he's been forced to sell his agency, the Wasserman Agency, which they'll probably end up renaming too. And, people are refusing to work with him. I forget exactly what was in the emails with him, but nothing good, I would say. Indy, I am excited for the Cliff Booth movie and can't say that about much. Forget what the release date is. Yeah, it looks good. I would see that. It's David Fincher, and it takes place in the 70s, so I'm on board. I think it'll be, at the very least for me, it'll be nostalgic. That Park Place. Star Wars Marvel crossover rumor shot down by The Hollywood Reporter, but Deadpool creator says Disney has 100% heard pitches. Okay. Are you talking movie now? That would be weirder than weird. But it would break the bank if you did it. Indie Phantom. It's Netflix too. Oh, good. Well, wait. Now I don't have Netflix. But I'll probably get access to it somehow. Can you imagine Netflix gives me Netflix for 3 years and then just suddenly starts charging me? After I specifically told them. I specifically called Netflix and said, I want to cancel Netflix. And they went, well, we're not charging you. I go, you're not? They're like, no, we don't have any record of any charges. So you could just not watch it. I said, okay. I said, I'll keep it, but I don't want to be charged. And they were like, no, we're not going to charge you. We'll alert you. And as far as I know, I never got an email. But then you know how good I am with emails. And suddenly, I'm doing my taxes a couple of days ago, and I'm like, Netflix charge? What the F? So I called them up. I got my money back, but it was like, damn, Netflix. I don't want to pay $20 a month for Netflix. It was like 19 and change. It's just not worth it for me. I watch maybe one Netflix movie maybe once a month, twice a month. There's not much on Netflix I want to see. But I do want to see the Cliff Booth movie, but you'll be able to rent that, somewhere for $20. Probably on Amazon. Agatha All-Along showrunner leaves Disney for Amazon MGM deal. Why would you hire her? Is Amazon trying to corner the deal on every woke producer in Hollywood? Oh, this Agatha All-Along show was terrible and woke. What was it about? Oh, lesbian witches, and there was a naked woman in it, and children saw her, and there was a musical number in it, and people didn't like it. Oh, great. Yeah, let's hire her. For what? Why would you hire her? Just because she did a terrible show? Wouldn't you rather take a chance on someone new than her? Are you going to rehire all the She-Hulk talent while you're at it too? What the hell? Agatha All-Along? And she got a deal. What's that deal? I got to see who this is. Jack? Is that her name? Jack Schaefer? Okay. Creator and showrunner of Agatha All-Along. Also WandaVision. That show was a slightly better, I guess. I've heard some people like that, but not really Agatha All-Along. Let's see what her credits are. That's not what I wanted. It's not what I wanted, IMDb. Okay, here we go. All right. This is the showrunner. So, previous. This is writer. Agatha All-Along, Black Widow, That was that Black Widow movie. WandaVision, The Hustle, Olaf's Frozen Adventure, that was a short. Mr. Stash, another short, and Timer. Director, Holes, the TV series, Agatha All Along, Mr. Stash, Timer, and Invoking Marilyn. Producer, Rodrigo, Agatha All Along, WandaVision, Mr. Stash, Timer, Foster Stories. I mean, that's who you give a deal to? Why? I don't understand. Indie Phantom, surely they put Cliff Booth on the big screen for a few days. It's Fincher and Pitt, FFS. Was She-Hulk not good, Tony? Sounds like another winner. Yeah, like, what are you going to put her on? Do you have some other feminist TV show and, you're going to take another IP? I don't know. What IP are you going to ruin next, Hollywood? The Man Show? You're going to do like a feminist version of the Man Show, maybe? That would be funny. That would be like the ultimate victory for the feminist, right? Oh, we took the Man Show and we made it feminist. Yeah, there are no men on it whatsoever. I mean, Jesus. I'm dumbfounded that they would, give someone like that a deal. Like, I understand if they hire her, we got a show, we need a showrunner. She has experience. Maybe she'll make this show good. But you gave her a deal. A deal usually implies like, oh yeah, we want you. Like, we want to recruit you. Why? Don Lemon pleads not guilty in church charges case tied to Minnesota protests. Of course he does. Over at Geeks and Gamers, more on the box office. Walking Dead streaming may be up for grabs as Netflix deal nears end. Oh boy, I can't wait to see that show and its terrible blocking again. I hate that show. I really hate it. Even though I watched it for a long time, really wanted some zombie stuff. But man, it's the only show that got worse as it, well, it's not the only show to get worse as it progressed, but it really got worse as it progressed. Like, it just, like the first episode's pretty good. And then it just sort of, for me, goes downhill from there. But I stuck with it, hoping it would pull out at a dive. And by the end, it had a season finale that I absolutely hated. I almost bailed on it then, but I stuck with it for quite a while. F1 sequel officially greenlit. Oh, well, maybe there is some justice in Hollywood. I heard good things about the F1 movie. Other than it seemed like not to make a whole lot of money. If you could cut the budget on it, sure, an F1 sequel sounds like something to greenlight. Disney censured in UK over inappropriate and disturbing content. Oh, okay. I know what this is about. So in the UK, they showed, let's see if they have a picture. They showed this image promoting the Predator Badlands movie, and the UK censors didn't like it because it looked like a woman who was severed in half. Even though the character is an android, but you could see how it looks. But that's the UK. I mean, this is what they do instead of fixing their country. They censor people. But yeah, that's the UK government. It's a mess over there. Over at Breitbart, inside ICE plan to turbocharge immigration crackdown. They're not backing off. FBI, DNA recovered from glove found near Guthrie home that appears to match glove worn by suspect. I don't know if that's going to do you any good, because I know that in the New York Post, they found a bunch of gloves. Like, I don't know, man. How many gloves was this guy wearing? I don't think these could be all his gloves. You know what workmen do sometimes? They take off their gloves and they just throw them away because they either wore them out or they just lose them. So I don't know, man. Those gloves could be anybody's gloves, even if you got DNA on them. Like, how you gonna prove they were the gloves used in the kidnapping? I don't know. Let's see. Is there any entertainment here? Deadpool and Wolverine screenwriter says Chinese tech comedy backed AI video of Tom Cruise fighting Brad Pitt will leave Hollywood decimated. Yep, sure will. You're never going to be able to ban it. That's the problem. And with the Chinese having zero respect for copyrights unless they get something, you're just going to see... You're going to see entire movies made coming out of China. They're going to be made from AI, and people are going to pass them around the internet if they're any good. Right? And you're going to see all kinds of crazy stuff. If we don't do it, they will. You know, I'm not saying like, look, I think it's fine to do this stuff if you're just doing it for fun, right? Like, if you're not making money off the final product and you use Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise run around beating each other, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You're not stealing money from them. You're just goofing around as if they're action figures. But yeah, if you put out a movie with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt and it makes money and you don't pay them, that's a real problem. Then you should be sued. But if you let people do this, I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen. Some 14-year-old in his basement is going to make the most amazing movie of all time. Everybody on the internet's going to see it. And then Hollywood will come along and say, well, now we want to show that movie in theaters. And now we want to option everybody he used in the movie and then hire him and give him a big salary. Which is what they should do if everybody watches it, right? Why not? If he made a great movie and everybody wants to see it, that's exactly the guy we need making movies. Indie Phantom, AI is coming for us all. It will have no mercy. Well, we're going to get a Terminator sequel either way. Ha! Pete Davidson and Casey Affleck film to use AI to adjust performances and create set locations. That's very interesting. Because it sounds to me like they already intended to use AI in this way already. And that's very specific. So it sounds to me like they've already been using AI. They're just telling you they're using AI now. So I think they've been using AI behind the scenes for a while. But they're at the point now where they're going to tell people in case someone notices. But I don't know how you use that to adjust performances. I guess that'll save you money on the set, right? So you could shoot a scene with a couple of actors, and then you could tell the AI, say, oh, have him say this line instead of the line we shot. Which would be pretty good. I mean, it'll save you a lot of time and money. It'll save you on reshoots. Indie Phantom, 14-year-olds won't make anything that we will think is amazing. But maybe TikTok Jen will like. Somebody will. Indie Phantom, AI will improve Pete Davidson's performance? Apparently. Let's see. Melania Trump visits Fort Bragg in Dolce & Gabbana coat, St. Laurent boots. I don't know why that's a news story, but there you go. Miss North Florida, Kaylee Bush, says she was stripped of her Miss America title after refusing to accept transgenderism. Unacceptable. Give her her crown back, I say, if true. Steven Spielberg donates $25,000 to James Van Der Beek's family after beloved actor's death. That was nice of Steven Spielberg. Although with all his millions, you'd think he could go 100, 50, 100 maybe, but sure. FBI increases reward money as search for Savannah Guthrie's mom intensifies. I feel like I should go out to Arizona and look for this woman at this point. Indie Phantom, Kaylee Bush. Hee hee. That's the usual level of talk we get here on the chat. We talk about hot chicks in movies. I'm just kidding. So yeah, this is all I mean, there are 3 different gloves. Anybody could have dropped these gloves. Anyone could have dropped these gloves. And they're not on the doorstep of the house, are they? They're like, I think they're in fields nearby. Yeah, they're in the Catalina foothills, 2 miles from the Tucson home. Anybody could have dropped these gloves. That doesn't seem like these guys. I think they screwed up this case. I don't know where this woman is, but I think I know about as much as the sheriff's department at this point. That's not good. Bondi announces all Epstein files released, unveiling over 300 high-profile names. So there was a big list of names released, but it was literally every name in the Epstein files. But it included names of people who had nothing to do with Epstein. So, for instance, they mentioned Elvis Presley in some of the email exchange. So Elvis Presley is listed as a name in the Epstein files, which is technically true, but Elvis was long dead before any of this stuff happened. So there's a bunch of people listed. There are emails about Thomas Massie, because Thomas Massie was, I don't know, he was doing something at the time. Or he was leading the push for the Epstein files. So now his name is on a list. It doesn't make any sense to release this list, really, other than this is exactly what Massie and those who wanted the list unredacted. But what you really wanted was the files to be unredacted. So, okay. Be careful what you wish for. It just sounds like they're confusing everything. Indie Phantom, I would have said it was OJ if he was still alive. Seems like some dumb S he'd do. Presley definitely would have loved that. Oh, hunka burn in St. James Island. Huh. Jeffrey, what are you doing here, man? I came out all the way in this island. There's just a bunch of kids here. That was my Elvis. Thank you. Bordazar declines to defend Christine Noem, admits they still disagree in new interview. I don't think that means much. Pilot couple killed in plane crash caused by dirty windshield, but their dog survives. Well, thank God for that. Next time, clean your windshield. Well, there won't be a next time. That's sad. U.S. men's hockey team, best Olympic win yet, comes with looming bracket caveat. So the men's hockey team and the women's hockey team are winning. So we may have a Miracle on Ice 2.0. And with women. Indie Phantom, Elvis would just order some cheeseburgers and pie. I'd like some cheeseburgers and pie, Jeffrey, and my famous deep fried peanut butter sandwich. You ever hear that? The deep fried peanut butter sandwich? It's peanut butter, bananas, and then you deep fry the whole sandwich. Sounds good. Canada's men curling team hit with second cheating accusation and exploding Olympic controversy. Never heard so much exploding controversy on curling. Kim Jong-un's heiress, 13, could face deadly succession fight from her own ruthless aunt. Oh boy, we'll want to be her. Indie Phantom, Canada is smoking in men's hockey. I could imagine. Canadian, you Canucks, you're brought up playing hockey. What do you start playing at like 2? Yeah, had that sandwich. Really good stuff, Indie Phantom. Forensic scientists push to reopen case on Nirvana frontman Kurt Cobain's death. I heard Sticks and Hammer make a video about this. Apparently there's some evidence that doesn't jibe with a self-deletion. What are they going to find now? I mean, come on. But someone kept pointing out that Cobain pointed out that there were some people doing bad things to kids near an island near his house. And there was an interview with him, and he said some stuff about it. And then he ended up self-deleting. So, I don't know. It might be a conspiracy theory, but there seems to be some evidence. Indy Phantom, I can't skate well, but it was a good floor. H goalie in my teens. I think I played street hockey one time. Badly. Nancy Guthrie investigators ramp up search with high-tech device via helicopter and to track pacemaker. Well, why didn't you do that on the first day? That would have been the easiest way to find this woman. To me, that would have been the most obvious thing to do. She has a pacemaker inside her, unless they cut that out, God forbid. It's got to have it has to have a thing to locate people. It's usually in old people. I'll tell you, these cops. Oh, why did your automatic corrector changed hockey to H? I don't know why it did that. I can't believe they haven't found this guy. Between the Ring cameras, although she is in the middle of nowhere, it looks like. Why you would kidnap someone this old and think you could get away with anything is insane. But he's getting away with it so far. I mean, hotshot chef worked for Epstein, including on Bad Things to Children Island, DOJ files. Ugh. Indy Phantom. Yeah, spell check is weird. Notorious mob hangout trades its shady past with Italian halal reboot. No. I don't like that. Trump Board of Peace to announce $5 billion in funding for Gaza reconstruction at inaugural meeting. So that's probably good. Hillary Clinton admits migration went too far, became disruptive and destabilizing. Not unlike you. Coney Island lands $1 million from New York City for revitalization initiative. Iconic all year long. There's garbage all over your streets. No one's plowed them, you idiot. Indy Phantom. This case is weird. Where's the ransom money? No proof of life, no bueno. Yeah, like they're never going to allow the Guthries to give anybody money and the hope that they're the kidnappers. Indy Phantom, shut the F up, Hillary. Exactly. Like, the cops would never allow the Guthries to give people money. I mean, they could if they wanted to, but they would tell them, we don't even know if this is the guy. They already arrested a guy for trying to shake down the Guthries. So, you don't even know. This guy could be in Nigeria. You're going to give him like $3 million? It doesn't make any sense. You have to have proof of life and a process by which you get Nancy back. And it has to look like a process, right? It has to look like something. Oh, my God. These criminals are completely woke-tarded. I mean, there's no way they could get away with it. No way. They're going to be found, and unfortunately, I think Nancy Guthrie's probably not going to be alive. It'd be a miracle if somehow they've kept her tied up all this time without her medication and she's still alive. I mean, a GD miracle. Coalition of minority psychologists opposes Jewish shrinks from creating similar group. Cite whiteness. That sounds yet another incredibly racist headline from woke people. Mamdani-backed Dem Socialist House candidate touts signing letter as top achievement. Okay. Things are just going swimmingly in New York, aren't they? Maya Hawke celebrates Valentine's Day wedding with her famous parents and Stranger Things cast in attendance. All right. Iran arrests 50,000 protesters in a dragnet as families fear they may never be seen again. I was reading an article saying that they have killed quite a few people, allegedly. The numbers range from around 7,000 shot dead in the street to 30 to 40,000 locked up and disappeared. Like, when I say locked up, they may have been locked up temporarily only to be executed at a secret location somewhere else. So if they rounded up 50,000 protesters, if that's true, that's dark. That's really dark. But they may be past the point of no return. I mean, you may have so many people now in this protest, they may be to the point where they're like, well, I'm going to die anyway. I might as well go out trying to fight these guys. So once you reach that point, you're going to have to kill literally everyone except your soldiers. And that's untenable. They're going to start, the soldiers will just start defecting. Ex-Prince Andrew ghosting oversight committees, questions on Epstein, top Dem reveals. Oh, what a shock. He doesn't want to answer more questions about his best friend, Epstein? Oh, what a shocker. I would think he would love it. I would think it would be like a holiday. Oh, come in and answer questions, embarrassing questions about Epstein. Teachers' unions hold kids hostage. Here's the way out. Abolish teachers' unions. You have to abolish them. I came to that conclusion a while back. James Lindsay finally caught up to me on that point, and he's just like, abolish teachers' unions. You have to abolish them. They're out of control. I think you should abolish all the government unions. If you're a government worker, you shouldn't have a union. It should be illegal for you to form a union because there's a conflict of interest there. If you don't like the way the government treats you, work somewhere else. And let the government, change the government, essentially. $525,000 flag that covered Abraham Lincoln's casket finds home in New York City steakhouse. Neat. It still looks pretty good. I mean, it's all, the white stripes are very white. Let's see. Wiz Khalifa painfully announces sudden death of his dad at age 63. R.I.P. Sorry to hear that. It's a shame. 63 is kind of young, too, said the 59-year-old. Catholics, conservatives cheer ouster of ex-Miss California from White House religious panel after controversy. Well, she's a smoke show. It doesn't mean she's smart. Warner Brothers weighing reopening sales talks with Paramount. I told you it wasn't over. I don't think Trump wants this deal to go through with Netflix, and neither do a lot of people. I think they're going to jam them up until Paramount wins it somehow. And then you're going to see it go, whoop, okay, it's done. The moment Paramount gets on top and Warner Brothers says, okay, I guess we could go that way, then you're going to see the deal will go through. Netflix will sue and lose, but maybe they get some money. I don't know. Israel's war between the wars with Hamas continues despite ceasefire. Yeah, it sure seems that way. I see news on antiwar.com that people are dying all the time. But it seems to be at least less people. Unrecognizable Scarface bombshell rides New York City subway. Oh. She starred opposite movies like Paul Newman, George Clooney, and Al Pacino. Scarface, that's not Michelle Pfeiffer. Who is that? Place your bets. Place your bets. That's her. Let's see her back in the day. Oh, it was the sister. Okay. Yeah, the sister. Now I remember her. That bikini rocks. She starred opposite Tom Cruise in The Color of Money. Oh, I didn't know that was her. Oh, I remember this. That was her in what's the name? Yeah, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Huh. Say hello to my subway. Now I get the headline. I don't know why she's riding the subway. Playful relationship leaf test goes awry, putting unsuspecting boyfriend in relationship crosshairs. Okay, I'm going to tell you something about relationships. Sometimes, when you're talking to your significant other, it's a trap. It's just there. I don't know if the women mean to do it, but it's usually a lose. If you sense, I don't think I should answer this question, then just, immediately offer to take her out to dinner or do something to completely distract her. That's what I say. So that's your only way out. Stranded boater and dog saved in daring caught on rescue Coast Guard rescue. Another dog rescue. Tell you that people love dogs. Indie Phantom. Oh no, Mary Elizabeth Mastrionia? Not looking great. She's a protest hag now? I don't think so. I think she was just on the subway. Yeah, she's just on the subway. His girlfriend is hot, though. Let me see. Yeah, she's cute. He looks like he doesn't know what he's in for, though. He looks like he's being lured right into that trap. But good for you for saving another dog. Disney Park replaces classic Splash Mountain sign, sparking backlash as critics slam woke move. Disney has replaced a lot of things. I mean, I don't think you could stop them at this point. Here we go. We've got the stars arriving at the Spirit Awards. Okay, now we can make fun of all the outfits. Finally. This is a good one to end on. All right, so we'll go through this. We got 31 pictures. First up, this is Nina Dobrev. She looks pretty cute. That's an okay dress, I guess. A little billowy. I'd like to see something a little more form-fitting. I don't care about him. Weird. It's sort of like a pantsuit deal. Regina King. It's all right, I guess. Now that's a little more form-fitting. Jenny Slate. Jenny Slate is a comedic actress. So, I mean, she looks good for Jenny Slate. Taylor Dearden. I don't know who she is. Kind of looks like somebody's secretary. But, all right. Oh, this is a weird one. Wumi Masako. Yeah, that feels like it's trying to be like a one of those Japanese dealies. The kabuki dancers without the makeup. It's a little too billowy. Indie Phantom. Slate, pretty nice. For Slate, yeah. Here's Ego Nawudim. That's a nice dress. That kind of reminds me of something you'd see in like Fallout. In the 50s scene. So far, these outfits are okay for the most part. Ooh, who's this? Rose Byrne. Pretty good. A little ostentatious, but nice. I mean, it's still not weird as that guy who was in the Prince Valiant costume a couple of shows ago. Amy Madigan. Now, she's older. See, this is the kind of outfit I would expect on an older actress, right? She's covered up, which is smart. It's kind of got like a Diane Keaton vibe going on, where she's wearing like a pantsuit. She looks nice, but she's not trying to be she's not trying to dress out of her age bracket. Indie Phantom. Haven't recognized a single name until Burn. Amy Madigan was the witch in Weapons. I think she's married to... Oh, gosh. She's married to somebody famous. I forget now. Kiki Palmer. I don't like the short hair. But the dress is fine. Kind of a weird fit on her, though. Erin Doherty. It's a weird thing going on with the edges of the dress wrapped around her wrist. That's weird. Not sure what happens if someone robs the Spirit Awards and she has to go, oh, don't shoot. It's going to lift her whole dress over her head. That doesn't seem to be good. Or is it one of those things where you have like a ninja picture underneath, and then when you lift it up, there's like a ninja? Indie Phantom Madigan, I know. She is with Ed Harris, and they are crazy political, but always were. Oh, Ed Harris. Yeah, I knew she was married to someone famous. Now, why did I think it was a director, though? Indie Phantom, not great dresses so far. There's Mark Hamill. Speaking of political, he looks okay. I don't know who that dude is. I don't care. This is Purna Janagathan. She's got to be a Bollywood girl, I think, with that name. I guess. It's okay. Not very flattering, these dresses. Emily V. Gordon and Kumail Nanjiani. She's got a nice dress on, I would say. I don't know who that is. Dylan O'Brien. What? David Dasmashian. Down. Can never say. Is he wearing a dress? Indie Phantom. At least Hamill's pants are staying up. That's right. He lost his pants. David. I can never say his name. Dasmalachan. I think he's wearing a dress. And he looks like he has makeup on, too. What is he doing? What the hell is happening? Why is he dressed that way? Wow. Now, I hadn't seen the guy in a while, but I didn't know he was cuckoo bananas. And that's what I would say this outfit signifies. Indie Phantom, that dude is straight up gay looking. Like, like if you were gonna go that gay, why not wear a nice dress? Like, what is this? It's like you beat up Ali Sheedy in the 80s and stole her outfit and came back through time to wear it at the Spirit Awards, I guess. That is weird. That sort of changes my view on this actor a little bit. Because he's always playing guys in suits who are pretty straight-laced in most of his roles. And now I have a completely different impression of this guy. Jimmy Tatro and Zoe Deutsch. I think I've heard that. And Zoe looks kind of cute. Nice legs. Judy Greer. I like Judy Greer. She's a bit covered up. She's got a good body, generally speaking. Now she's starting to show her age, but she used to be on Arrested Development, and her character was the hot secretary that the father character was having an affair with, and she would wear like skin tight T-shirts, and she had a rockin' bod. So I'm surprised she's so covered up. Indie Phantom, he is always like that. He was sort of cool horror nerd, but saw him on Fangoria Awards and the red flags came out. Oh, that's a shame. Natasha Rothwell. Indie Phantom, I'd bang Judy Greer. If I was single, absolutely. She's a cutie. Natasha Rothwell. Again, appropriate for her age and sort of body type, I guess. Kind of looks like an opera singer. doing like a winter show. Anna Camp. I don't know who that is, but she's very cute. That's a nice dress. Okay. Steph Wilson and Tig Notaro. Oh, this is Tig Notaro's the comedian that's on Star Trek Starfleet Academy. She's in the lesbian relationship with like half Jemadar, half Klingon woman who's clearly a black woman in makeup, and she's super overweight, but she's the gym teacher. Oh, that show. Hey, who's this? Kala Gerber. Indie Phantom. Gay couple. Oh, they're a couple? Okay, that makes sense. But this chick, she's a smoke show. Oh, yeah. Kala Gerber. Okay. This is Kirsten Dunst and Jesse Plemons. Kirsten Dunst looks okay, I guess, in kind of a school marmy way. Indie Phantom, finally a babe. Yeah. Yeah, she's babelicious. Kirsten Dunst okay. She's all right. Oh, Lake Bell. Lake Bell is another female actress, comic actress, or was. It's like everybody who was into comedy had to bail because there was no work, I think. Indie Phantom, Plemons did okay for himself. Yeah. And Lake Bell was always very attractive, but she was also funny. I kind of miss the fun Lake Bell, but she looks good in that. I mean, that's a nice dress. It's so rare, though, to have a hot woman who's also trying to be funny. And she was kind of actually funny. Like Jenny McCarthy tried so hard to be funny. It was never really all that funny, but she was hot. Back in the day, she was doing all these wacky things, but she was so hot. I don't think anybody would tell her that she wasn't funny. I know I'd be on the set going, oh, that's the funniest thing I've ever seen, Jen. If you took off your top, it'd be even funnier. Here is Priya Ganesh. I would guess she's probably another Bollywood star. That's a nice enough dress, I guess. Kind of hangs weird on her, though. Tessa Thompson. I kind of can't stand Tessa Thompson. And her outfit is, nah. Indie Phantom. Cool flick with Lake Bell is Burning Palms, a strange anthology. Tessa Thompson. Part of the reason I can't stand her is because they cast her as Valkyrie, which kind of isn't her fault, and she should have never been cast as Valkyrie. But she kind of is a lame duck in the acting department, I think, and I think she's Taika Waititi's like side piece. If I read correctly, like I think he had a girlfriend and then he had another girl, and they were almost in a throuple together, and I think she's in the mix. I don't know which one she is. That's what I read anyway. That's a weird dress. I don't know what's on the front there. It looks like cotton candy, a dragon made of cotton candy. Here is Issa Rae. Probably should be wearing a bra. Doesn't look great. I don't know who that is. Oh, Francesca Scorsese. Yeah, that's not a good dress. That is not a good dress. Come on. Somebody should have said something to her. Again, you got to have the body for a dress like that. That doesn't look good. Like, maybe if you hiked it up and put her boobs high enough that they didn't look like they were sagging down. Like, that doesn't look good. You're showing way too much, I think. Like, if you got the goods, sure. But if you don't have the goods, it's like, yeah, you probably shouldn't be showing so much. And that's it. That's it. There's Elizabeth Hurley in a red bikini on the left there. Always love to see that. All right. I'm going to wrap it here. Ran out of juice a while ago. What have we learned today? Let's go back to at least one hot chick. Let's see. Lake Bell's okay. Yeah, let's go back to her. What have we learned today? Well, we learned the Spirit Awards still managed to have plenty of wacky costumes. I guess it's just the kind of thing, like, you get invited to an award show, and the first thing the actors do is go, how can I get some attention? Indy Phantom sometimes should have said to her, maybe stay home. No, I think she could have found a dress that would have fit her. You know, something that would be less. I mean, like, you got Judy Greer, who I assume still has a pretty good body. She could have pulled that dress off, right? But if you're kind of heavy set, you need to be dressed like Judy Greer was dressed. You know, you got a jacket and a shirt, and you're basically covered up. But you could look good because, like, black is slimming, and you're going to have, like, the V-neck going, and it's going to draw attention from that you're a little heavy set. She could easily cover that up, but not in that dress. No way. We learned that there are a million reboots coming out. Baywatch and Charlie's Angels and everything. Everything is just being rebooted to death, and it's sickening and it's disgusting. And there's absolutely no talent in Hollywood. We also in comics, it's just a lack of talent. But we did learn there is hope. There's been a lot of hope the last couple of weeks. Besides Iron Lung, which is an indication of hope, the comedy movies are coming out. 3 comedy movies this week. 3. Our cup runneth over. Indy Phantom, we learned that Star Wars is in the MCU now. Yeah, and like, what does that mean? I mean, the best you could do is maybe a 12-issue arc where the Avengers eventually figure out how to beat Darth Vader and the Force. Like, Indy Phantom, A New Hope. Yeah, that's funny. A New Hope. Yeah, I think they need to put out less Star Wars, not more. The time to cross over Star Wars with Marvel, like, that ship sailed a long time ago. Like, back in the 70s when Star Wars came out, they could have done it easily. And in fact, the Marvel run on Star Wars was, like, famous for, like, going completely off script and just doing a bunch of new adventures. And Lucasfilms, or whoever it was at that time, I don't know what he called this company at that time, but they announced specifically that the comics and Marvel were not canon. And they kicked it out of the Star Wars canon. JEC, Florida Hippopotamus Cocaine Massacre is in stores Wednesday. Oh, right. Congratulations. Congratulations, JEC. Everybody check out Florida Hippopotamus Cocaine Massacre is in stores Wednesday. Comic book stores. There's nothing else in comic book stores that are any good. So this will be good because JEC made it, and you know him, and he delivers a quality product, I think. So why not support an independent creator? Because Florida Hippopotamus Cocaine Massacre, that's a story I can get behind. Not a bunch of all this pretentious nonsense that Hollywood seems to crank out every day. So get out to the comic book stores and support your chat buddy. That's what we'll call you. We'll call you chat buddies. I think I'll do that next week. All right, what's coming up for me? Tuesday, I have to go to the Berlin FOP Hall, which thank God I remembered that. I wrote it on my calendar and then forgot what the hell I wrote. And I'm doing a performance for another event that they're going to have. So I'm like performing for the administrative cops who run the FOP Hall. And if all goes well, they're going to invite me to another thing. Then on Wednesday, I'll be at the Tyndall Road Brewing Company. That's in Bordentown, and that starts at 6. There's going to be a book club and a trivia night, and I'm going to be doing Jersey Devil stuff. Then on Thursday, I'm going to the Cold Springs Village. Indie Phantom says, nice, JEC, thumbs up. I'm going to the Cold Spring Village, and this is really good. They're doing a speaker night, and I'm going to be, I think, the second or third speaker of 2026, and I'm doing my Jersey Devil thing there. And then on Friday, I'm going to the I Heart Horror Show from 10 to 4. So it's gonna be a rough 4 days for me. I'm gonna be selling, but hopefully selling a lot of books. Selling a lot of books. All right. Indie Phantom, if it's on Kindle, I will get it. All right. So I don't know if JEC has it on Kindle, but he does have it on PDF. So maybe you could get it that way somehow in his Kickstarter or something. Maybe he could still sell it to you. I don't know. Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Sorry I didn't get to see Little Joan. She's tuckered down. I'm going to go take a break, and we'll see you in the next one. Indie Phantom, I am giving that chick on screen a 9 of 10. I would agree with that assessment. She's a solid 9. Solid 9. Very toned. I don't even know who she is. Calla Gerber. Who is Calla Gerber? I'm going to look it up real quick, and then I got to go. So I really got to hit the bathroom. Calla Gerber. Actress. Very cute. Born in 2001, so she's in her 20s. Oh, she was in that movie Bottoms, which was it was like a coming of age movie with 2 lesbians. Okay. Palm Royal Hacks. I sort of know the show. I don't know what she's overcompensating. Saturday Night. Babylon, she was in that. Well, she's been in a lot of stuff. Nothing really big or breakout, I would say, but when you look like that, yeah, you can get work in Hollywood, I think. JC, you can get a digital version off the publisher's website, Mad Cave Studio. Indie Phantom, she's hot as F. Indie Phantom, I saw Bottoms. You did? Was she naked in that? I remember the trailer for this. Oh, is that her as the lead? Huh. Because they uglied her up for that. Indie Phantom, I've seen some of her stuff. No, that was Rachel Sennott. Who was she in this? She was like the hot cheerleader girl that they didn't like. All right. I've seen some of her stuff. I wouldn't mind seeing some of her stuff, if you know what I mean. Anyhow, on that horrible joke, we'll see you in the next one. Give me a up vote on your way out, too. Got to keep the algorithm happy. And end.